Hello and welcome back once again to the Wrestling Rant. And just like that, Raw is back to sucking again. Yeah, Raw was atrocious tonight. Just ended a minute ago and I'm good and pissed off, so yeah. April 14th, 2014, from Birmingham, Alabama. The show starts with the whole roster on the stage. And of course, since the Ultimate Warrior died last Tuesday, they have to pay tribute to him. And it shows on the Titantron his picture and the year he was born, the year he died. And Lawler asks for everyone to pay tribute. They show a video package, highlights, of course, of the Warriors' career, and then they do a 10-bell salute. And then the Warriors' music plays, and there's a Warrior chant from the crowd. So yeah, the whole night is supposed to be a tribute to the Warrior. And they end up showing some different clips again from the Warriors' career, big matches, not the entire matches, of course, but like highlights basically. Anyways, they hype a rematch between the Usos and Orton and Batista. And they also hype, will the Authority strike back against the Shield? And then they also announce and hype up that they're having a tournament to find a number one contender to Big E's Intercontinental title. And after that, they cut to a commercial break. And when they come back, Alberto Del Rio is already in the ring. And then RVD comes out. And I believe this was the first match in the Intercontinental title number one contendership tournament. Match was okay, but still kind of boring. I just want to get through this quick because there's so much I'd rather be doing. I just restarted Skyrim, and I'd like to get back to that. I just got into Game of Thrones, and I'd like to get back to watching some of that. Fucking WWE. Oh yeah, and by the way, I don't know if it had been announced at this point in the show yet, but they do announce that because Daniel Bryan just got married to Brie Bella, he's on his honeymoon, and he won't be there at all tonight. That's right, Bryan doesn't even show up. Anyways, the match. The first thing of note is Big E is watching the match from his locker room. There was a commercial break. Oh yeah, and then there was this stupid blown spot where RVD went to do his goofy springboard thrust kick and completely fucking missed. RVD goes for his split leg moonsault, but Del Rio gets his knees up and counters. And so, of course, Rob bounces off of his knees. He's like, fuck, And then Del Rio comes up behind him and does the back cracker, and it basically flipped RVD over all the way over. They show Big E watching again. RVD goes up top, but gets crotched by Del Rio, and then Del Rio jumps up the ropes and does his enziguri kick in the corner thing. Del Rio went up to the top rope, but Rob pulls his legs out from under him, and Del Rio goes back first on the turnbuckle and tumbles forward. And that sets him up, of course, for the 5-star frog splash, which RVD hits, and he gets the win with it. So the match, like I said, was okay, but still kind of boring. We get a recap from last week of the whole thing with Bryan celebrating and Triple H coming out and announcing the match for the end of the night, and then Orton and Batista beating the shit out of Bryan, and then the Shield helping Bryan. Yeah. We cut backstage to the office where there's Stephanie and Triple H, and we can't hear what they're saying, but then up come Orton and Batista, and we still can't hear what they're saying, but they're talking about something, and they cut away. And then we cut into the first of the Warrior highlight things, showing his match from SummerSlam 88, beating the Honky Tonk Man for the Intercontinental title. And then they cut to a commercial break. Cutting back to the office again, Stephanie, Triple H, Orton, and Batista are still there, and they're talking about the Shield. And then Randy and Dave both tell Triple H that he's on his own, and they don't really care about the Shield. And so the two of them leave. Cutting back into the arena, Cody Rhodes and Goldust are coming out, and Rybaxel is already in the ring. So Rybaxel gets jobber entranced. We get a tag team match between these two. It was boring. It was a Goldberg chant, of course, directed at Ryback. And then Cody did an ugly-ass moonsault. And what ended up happening is Cody did a disaster kick on Axel. Axel went out of the ring because he wasn't the legal man. Ryback was legal. And then Cody goes to hit the disaster kick on Ryback, but Ryback catches him in midair with his big meat hook clothesline. And then Ryback pins Cody. Wins the match. So Cody just jobbed to Ryback's signature clothesline, not his shell shock finisher. Yeah, so Rybaxel wins despite getting the jobber entrance, and I got a good listen to their new mashup music, which is Ryback's theme, but with the, like, Mr. Perfect horns and drum thing. It sounds awful, by the way. And the crowd was dead. They don't give a fuck about these two. Commentators segue into a video about the new Legends House series that's going to be on the WWE Network. Don't give a fuck, and they cut to another commercial break. Coming back from the commercial, we get another hype video for Bo Dallas. Another one of his Bo Leave stupid shits. Who gives a fuck? Cutting back into the arena, Paige's music hits, and she comes out. And we get a recap from last week of her beating AJ for the Divas title. And when we come back, Alicia Fox is already in the ring. She has been in the ring the whole time. And of course what we get is a match between these two, which turned out to be crap. And my only notes here is Fox's awful offense. She's a terrible wrestler. Anybody who defends this girl is just flat out wrong. She's awful. Paige starts coming back, and then she gets Fox down and goes for, like, the sharpshooter, but she gets it and flips around and grabs Fox by the arms. And this apparently is called the Scorpion Crosslock. And of course Fox has to give up, and so Paige gets the win. But the match was really bad. It was mostly Fox beating up Paige. And when you're an awful wrestler like Fox, it looks bad. You know, I have to say this because it needs to be said. People complain about the Divas division and about AJ always looking like shit in the ring and never, people said that she wasn't really that good as a wrestler, and people are already saying that Paige hasn't looked all that good either. Well, there's an old saying, it takes two to tango. Okay? If you're in there with a partner who sucks, they're gonna make you look bad too. It doesn't matter if you're the best dancer in the world. If you're in there with a piece of shit, you're gonna look bad too. So, you put Paige, who is a good wrestler, in the ring with Alicia Fox, who is just awful. And it doesn't matter how good Paige is. Number one, it was bad booking, having Paige get beat up the whole time. Paige should have absolutely squashed Fox. But whatever. Like I said, I want to get through this quick, so let's just move on. You get another recap from last week of Orton and Batista versus the Usos and them just beating the shit out of the Usos, and who gives a fuck. We get more hype for the rematch between those two teams, and then we cut to a commercial. Coming back, the Usos come out. And then Orton comes out, and then Batista comes out, and we get the rematch. And the match doesn't even go for all that long before Randy is out on the outside with one of the Usos. Neither one of them was the legal member of the match. So, yeah, Batista's in the ring with the other Uso, who are the legal two. But anyways, Randy's outside with the one Uso, and all of a sudden, here comes the Shield out of nowhere, who beat the fuck out of Randy and take him out. And then they surround the ring like they usually do, and they get into the ring with Batista, and they beat the hell out of him too. And then Reigns hits the Superman punch, and Batista falls out of the ring over by Randy, who's there, and the two of them scurry away like cowards. And that just leaves the Shield standing tall in the ring. Which basically, all that does is piss off Orton and Batista, who said that, Triple H was on his own. And well, guess what? Now we changed our minds. So, yeah, this was actually kind of a stupid move by the Shield. I hate to say it, but it was kind of stupid. But yeah, anyways. Next up, we have another Warrior highlight, WrestleMania 6, of course, his biggest accolade, beating Hogan in the main event for the WWF title. Okay, we get that, and then we cut to another commercial break. We come back from the break, and there's Batista and Orton walking backstage, coming back from, getting their asses kicked by the Shield. Triple H and Stephanie come up, and Triple H says, "I told you so." Apparently he said something earlier about the Shield being a threat, whatever the fuck. Cutting back into the arena, Heyman comes out onto the stage. Paul Heyman, like I should have even said that. But Heyman comes out, and he has to fucking rub it in more that Brock beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania. And he shows pictures of Taker at Mania, walking alone, and all this stupid shit, and then more pictures of Batista beating the shit out of him. And he finally gets around to the goddamn point, which is introducing Cesaro, who comes out again to no music. Get some music for him already, fuck's sake. Cesaro and Heyman go down to the ring, of course, and then Mark Henry comes out. This is our next match as part of the Intercontinental title #1 Contenders tournament. The match is boring, of course. Big E is watching, of course, again. Henry goes for the World's Strongest Slam, but Cesaro slips down the back, and then he basically just European uppercutted Henry in the back of the head. And Cesaro came off the second rope, I think, with a flying European uppercut. And then he picked Henry up, and he hits the neutralizer on him, and he gets the win, so Cesaro wins. And before Roberts can say anything, Heyman has the mic and he says, "Your winner, the King of Swing, Cesaro." And Big E's watching is again. We cut to another commercial break. Coming back, we're in the office again. Triple H and Stephanie are talking to Brad Maddox, and Stephanie tells Brad to go tell the Shield they have a match tonight in the main event. And Brad's like, "Do you want me to tell them who their opponent is?" And Stephanie just says, "No." Anyways, cutting back into the arena, this music plays, and out comes Lana. Yeah, she has her own music now. She starts speaking Russian or whatever language it is that she speaks, and the crowd's like, what, you know. And then she finally starts speaking English to introduce Rusev. Rusev's music hits, and that boring son of a bitch comes out and gets absolutely no reaction from the crowd. And we see that Xavier Woods is already in the ring, and R-Truth, of course, is at ringside. So, of course, what do we get but another boring squash match? Rusev... The only two highlights of this match. Rusev does that big tilt-a-whirl sort of slam thing that he did, I think it was the last match. He does that, and then he locks Woods in the camel clutch, the accolade, and of course Woods taps out, and so Rusev wins. Truth gets in the ring and tries to fight Rusev, but Rusev just shoves him away, and then Lana's like, no, wait, you know, she's basically telling Rusev to stop. And Truth just goes over to Woods to check on him. And then I think what happened was Lana looks at Rusev and she points over to Truth and she just says, "Crush!" And he runs over and just kicks Truth right in the face, knocks him the fuck out. Stupid shit. Crowd's dead, of course, by the way, and they cut to another commercial break. Coming back, we get another Warrior highlight from SummerSlam 1990 versus Rick Rude. Steel cage match for the WWF title. And of course, Warrior won. Cutting back to the arena, Jack Swagger's already in the ring with Zeb Coulter, and then Sheamus comes out, and this will again be our another match in the Intercontinental title #1 contendership tournament. It's an 8-man tournament, by the way, if I didn't mention that. So this is basically the first round, and then we're down to 4, and then we're down to the final 2, and then we have the #1 contender. Anyways, Swagger and Sheamus, another boring match, and I'm noticing a trend. All the fucking matches in the Intercontinental title tournament are boring. Highlights from this boring match. Swagger did that weird big power slam sort of thing he's been doing, where he catches him and then fucking scoops him around and slams him. He hits that on Sheamus, but he did it on the floor, outside the ring, and it looked brutal, but Sheamus barely sold the fucker. So, Big E's watching, Sheamus does his clubbing, Sheamus does a flying shoulder tackle from the top rope, and then he goes to do a slingshot shoulder from the apron, but Swagger sidesteps, catches him into the Patriot Lock. Sheamus breaks out of it. They spill out to the outside, and Swagger tries throwing Sheamus. He hits him in the knee a couple of times, throws him knee first into the steps, so he's working Sheamus's knee for some reason. But either way, he throws Sheamus back into the ring, and then goes in after him, and Sheamus immediately hits a brogue kick and gets the win. And the crowd was dead. Again. By the way, I think they were chanting "We the People" during the match. I don't know. I think the people are just starting to get sick of Sheamus's shit. Anyways, After that, we get another video for Adam Rose. And I think it's the same Exotic Express video they showed before. Whatever, they cut to a commercial break. Coming back from the break, Damian Sandow is in the ring cutting a promo. And he's saying, like, I deserve to be, like, champion or some shit, and he deserves respect, something. And then Big Show's music hits to cut him off. And Sandow's like, no, it doesn't matter. I'm going to keep talking, and you're going to listen to me. Show comes down, and he gets in the ring, and he stands in the corner and just kind of waits while Sandow wraps up his promo. And I really forget all that Sandow says, but he goes over to Show in the corner, and he says, what do you think? And Show KO punches him in the face, knocks him out cold. And then Big Show leaves. So there was no match. There was no point to this segment whatsoever other than to just bury Damian Sandow even more. So once again, WWE, fuck you. And then we get the stupid Wyatt cut. And there's Harper whistling, and then I'm pretty sure what Bray ends up saying is, we're next. Like I fucking care if you're next, asshole. But the crowd loves it. I don't know why. And the stupid cut, and it goes to a commercial. Coming back from the commercial, they announce Big Show versus Jack Swagger is going to be on Main Event tomorrow night. Okay, whatever. Coming back to the arena, the Wyatts come out, and Bray starts cutting a promo in the ring. And he says, I have 1,000 faces and names. And I have to use the joke, well, if you have 1,000 faces, why did you pick that one, you ugly fuck? He starts talking about Cena, saying he's a liar, he's a deceiver, whatever. And then he says, come out and play, John. And, of course, Cena comes out. And Cena fucking pulls the Joker line. Why so serious, Bray? You're always too serious. We want to have some fun. And this is the problem with like every feud John Cena has had for like the longest time. He doesn't take his opponent seriously. He thinks it's all fun and games because he knows he's going to win. And it sucks. Anyways, he says, you know what? You've been talking about this Sister Abigail, and I wanted to know if she was even real. And so, I found her on MySpace. Like anybody uses MySpace anymore. And he brings up a picture on the Titantron. It's a picture of Bray in, like, women's clothing. So again, facepalm. And then Cena says, you know what, I wonder what your mom looks like, Bray. Brings up another picture. And it's a picture of Harper sitting in a rocking chair, again, in women's clothing. It's photoshopped, of course. And then Cena continues saying that there's even been a new addition to the Wyatt family. A baby was born just about a month ago or some shit. And I found a picture of Chastity Lynn Wyatt. And it's a picture of a baby with Rowan's head. So, yeah. Anyways, Bray finally fires back, talking. And Cena challenges Bray to a cage match. Because he wants to keep Harper and Rowan at bay. Which makes no sense. They were helping him during the match at WrestleMania, and Cena still won. If they had actually costed Cena the match, this would make more sense. Not only that, but are you really that dumb, Cena? They could still interfere in a cage match. You know how easy it would be for them to just climb the damn cage? The only way you're going to keep them out, the only way you're actually going to keep them out is if you either do a Hell in a Cell match, Or if you do a match where Harper and Rowan are in a cage, like put the two of them in a cage and have the cage on the stage, and somebody else has the key and they ain't gonna fucking let them out. Whatever. Yeah, so Cena challenges Bray to a cage match, and Bray says, "You know what, I like that idea, John. Blah, 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 blah." And he starts singing, doing his, he's got the whole world in his hands bullshit. And then we do the Wyatt cut. We get hype for the Shield match. We don't know who they're going against. That's the big hype thing. And we cut to a commercial break. Coming back, Santino and Emma are in the ring again. So who do you think comes out? Fandango and not Summer Rae. Layla. And while they're coming out, there's a picture-in-a-picture promo of Johnny telling Summer that it's not me, it's you. Or some shit like that. I love fuck. And there was this other classic line, I think it was Cole said, Johnny said over Twitter that Layla smells like Cinnamon Toast Crunch. That actually made me laugh, because that's classic Johnny right there. Acting like a perv, but you know what? Anyways, so we have another match between these two teams. And of course, just like on SmackDown, the match was crap. Emma locks Layla in the tarantula, which apparently she calls the dilemma. Get it? Because the word Emma is in the name. Stupid fucking twat. After the tarantula, Layla somehow gets out and then slams Emma from out of the corner. I didn't see it clearly. But either way, Layla pins Emma and that's match. So Johnny and Layla win. The match was short and it was crap. Santino and Johnny hardly did anything, thankfully, because Santino blows. Back in the office again with Stephanie, who's sitting there talking to Kane. And she's trying to figure out, like, what's wrong with Kane, like, whatever the fuck. She starts yelling at him. What happened to the monster? Where's the monster, Kane? And Kane gets up and he's, like, fuming mad, and he basically, like, cornered Stephanie for a second. And, he goes over to the glass box that's holding his old mask. Not his old mask, but his red mask that he had before he went corporate. He looks at it, he takes the case off of it, and he kind of strokes the hair on it, and then he picks it up, and he says, what did he say? Said he was gonna obliterate Brian and send him to the depths of hell, some shit like that. And yeah, we cut to commercial again. Coming back, we get another Bo Dallas video. Talking about you can't spell the word challenge without the word change. Seriously, please do not bring this fucker up. Again. You know how bad he failed before, right? Why would you even give him another chance? Let's give you a little bit of background on this. On NXT, he tried to have his own Occupy NXT thing, like Bryan had the Occupy Raw thing. And it went over like a lead balloon covered in pig shit. Nobody wanted to side with this fucker, and the crowd literally turned their backs on him. That's how much this guy sucks. Okay? Don't bring him up to Raw. He will get this same damn treatment. I almost guarantee it. The crowd will either turn their backs or they'll fucking leave in disgust. Seriously, people, I'm encouraging you to start leaving. go ask for refunds, leave. And that will become especially interesting when I get to the ending segment of the show. Anyways, let's wrap this shit up. Cutting back into the actual show, we get another Warrior highlight, and this time it's the promo that he cut last week on Raw, which was the day before he died. And I think I said it before. The promo, just everything about it, it just seemed like he knew he was about to go. So, yeah. More hype for the Shield match. And then Ziggler comes out to the ring, of course. Another match for the Intercontinental Tournament. But before anything else happens, we cut to a commercial break. And coming back, we get another Adam Rose video. And he's in his Exotic Express playing Hungry Hungry Hippos with the guy in the bunny costume. And he beats the guy in the bunny costume, but the bunny guy's all sad. And Rose is like, oh, don't be sad, every day's a party and all this shit. Stupid. Coming back to the ring, or the arena, Wade Barrett's music hits, and he comes out wearing this cape that looks like the Shredder from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. By the way, he also gets no reaction from the crowd. Of course, he dumps the cape because he's been doing that stupid shtick. We get a match, and it was actually a decent match that went for a decent length and had some decent action. Highlights. Dolph was able to hit his dropkick, of course. They spilled to the outside where Barrett wound up doing the overhead like flapjack sort of thing, but shooting Dolph face first into the post. Commercial break. Coming back, there was a CM Punk chant. And Dolph does his corner combo, the running Stinger Splash, mounting to the punching, and then he pulls him out of the corner and does a nice neck breaker on him. Wade is able to hit the Wasteland and only gets a 2. Dolph hits the Famouser, and then Wade goes up to the top rope, and Dolph catches him with the Super X Factor. And there was a "This is awesome" chant from the crowd. Dolph went for the zigzag, but of course Wade was on the ropes, and so he just kind of flung him out. And then Dolph comes running, and Wade catches him into the Winds of Change, and still only gets a 2. And then there was kind of back and forth of the two of them countering each other. And Wade wound up flapjacking Dolph up, and Dolph came down and landed on his face. And then Wade charges and hits the stupid bullhammer elbow. And of course he wins. And again, crowd was dead. And Barrett talks, "I've got some bad news. Mark my words, you're looking at the next Intercontinental Champion." Fortunately, that was about all he said. After that, for some strange reason, we got a video package about Kane. Yeah, and it showed mostly clips of him with the mask on. Okay, let's pump the brakes for a minute. Every time Kane comes back with his mask, he's a joke. So let's not try and take it seriously all of a sudden, okay? We get more hype for the Shield match, and that was at 10:52. So just 8 minutes before 11. And yeah, there's like no time left for this shit. And they cut to another commercial break. Coming back from the break, they announced that Sheamus will take on Batista on SmackDown. Coming back into the arena, the Shield comes out. And we get a recap again of last week's fight, The Shield versus, Triple H, Orton and Batista and Kane, yada yada yada. We're waiting on who The Shield's opponents are going to be. Del Rio's music hits, and he comes out. Followed by Jack Swagger, his music hits, and he comes back out. And then Fandango comes out. And then 3MB, and then Titus O'Neil, Rybaxel, Alexander Rusev, and Wade Barrett. So this is going to be 11 on 3. There's a brief fight, but they actually start a match. And there's a Hounds of Justice chant. And basically, the match, once again, was basically just a joke to lead into what the finish of the show is. The end, what happens is Ryback was legal with, I think it was Rollins, and they're over on the outside of the ring over by the ramp. And then all of a sudden, Reigns comes out of nowhere and just spears the fuck out of Ryback. And so all the heels jump off the apron because that's near their corner. They jump off the apron and start attacking Reigns, and the ref instantly calls for a DQ. Rollins comes flying from the ring and does a big dive on top of the pile. And the three members of the Shield regroup in the ring, and they start trying to fend off the heels. But, of course, there's a big brawl, and it's too much, the numbers game, and, of course, the Shield gets beat down for, way too fucking long. It's 11 dudes beating up 3. They're beating them down and beating them down. And then I hear this ticking, and I'm like, oh, fuck, they're finally using the damn Evolution music. Yeah. The music plays, and out comes Triple H, Orton, and Batista. And they come down to the ring, and Triple H tells the heels to piss off, and they do. And so Triple H, Orton, and Batista get into the ring, and they start beating on the Shield guys. First off, they isolate Rollins, and they're just beating the shit out of him. And Reigns comes up from behind and starts trying to fight him off, but he eats an RKO from Randy. And then Batista gives him the Batista Bomb. And then Rollins gets an RKO, followed by a Batista Bomb. And then they grab Ambrose, and Batista lifts him up for the Batista Bomb, and Randy's sitting there poised, and of course, Batista Bomb with the neckbreaker on Ambrose. And Triple H grabs a mic, and they're still yelling at him, and what the fuck, and Roman is crawling, trying to grab Triple H. And then Batista and Orton grab him and hold his arms back, and Triple H says, "Believe in evolution." And then he gives Roman the pedigree. And then the three of them stand over him and they raise their arms. Crowd's dead this entire time, by the way. And that's the end of the fucking show. So, yeah. God damn it. You guys had 1 week of decency on the show. 1 day, rather. And now it reverts back to garbage. Fuck right the hell off. You waste my fucking time, and you waste the money of the people who actually paid to go to the arena and see that shit. Seriously, people? Why didn't you leave the fucking arena? Turn your back on the ring or something. Tell these motherfuckers, we will not tolerate you wasting our fucking money. We came to see a good show, not get shat on, motherfuckers. As usual, I will go over the matches one more time. We started off with Del Rio getting beat by Rob Van Dam. It was an okay match. And then we got Rybaxel defeating the Rhodes Brothers in a boring match. And then we got Paige defeating Alicia Fox in a crap match. And then we got Cesaro beating Henry in a boring match. We got Rusev squashing Xavier Woods. And Sheamus defeating Jack Swagger in another boring match. And then we got Fandango and Layla beating Santino and Emma in a crappy match. And then we got Barrett defeating Ziggler in it was actually a fairly nice match. Really should have let Ziggler win, because I cannot fucking stand Wade Barrett. And then the farce of the Shield versus the group of heels went to a no contest, I guess, or a DQ, and only served to set up the Shield to get their asses kicked by the newly returned Evolution, which, by the way, I hated Evolution when it was new. So, fuck the three of them now. Fuck this show. I'm gonna go play Skyrim. So, thank you for watching, as always. I'm really starting to rethink whether or not I want to keep going with this shit. I'm sure the Shield will fight back next week. And it's really... No, Evolution can't take Shield on a straight fight. But of course, that's always been Triple H's MO. He can't fight anybody straight up. The motherfucker has to have somebody weaken his opponent before the match. That's what happened last week with Bryan. He was going to try and beat Bryan after Orton and Batista have already beaten the shit out of him. Anyways, thank you for watching the show. Join us next time for the SmackDown spoilers. See you then.